So far in the 2020 season, the Seattle Mariners have really been struggling to hit the ball, and that's a problem. Today we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through a deep dive into just exactly why the Mariners offense has been struggling so much, and particularly focusing on the top 5 hitters in the order: JP Crawford, Julio Rodriguez, Jorge Polanco, Mitch Garver, and Raleigh. These stats are updated as of yesterday's game on Sunday against the Chicago Cubs. All right, so basically, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The offense has been bad, but we're going to look at some of the kind of advanced stats, go into the metrics, go into the statcast numbers, and see why, right? Why is this offense as bad as it is? Let's start with JP Crawford. Slash line right now, he's hitting 155, 206, 259. That's a 505 OPS, worst on the team. 55 WRC plus, a 52 OPS plus, and he has 0 WAR. JP has struggled mightily after his career year in 2023. And right now, the advanced metrics are not showing a lot of positive signs, guys. JP Crawford, he currently ranks in just the 16th percentile for batting average, an expected batting average. That is 198. Notably, 198 still a lot higher than 155, but it's not great. His expected slugging currently 329, also higher than his mark of 259, but also, only the 26th percentile. So, JP Crawford, the numbers, according to the expected numbers, he should be better, but he shouldn't be that much better, which again, that's concerning, right? You want, you would hope that the numbers would show that it's bad luck. It's not all been bad luck. And there's some bad luck, but it's not all bad luck. Let's keep going into JP Crawford. The good news, well, let's talk a little bit more about the bad news first. The problem for JP, really, this is the biggest problem. If you pull up a Savant page, that's what I'm on right now. His current average exit velocity, 85.1 miles an hour. That's 12th percentile, so not good. His barrel rate, 4.1%. That's the 31st percentile. His hard hit percentage, 28.6%. That's 15th percentile. And his sweet spot percentage, this is particularly concerning. Second percentile, only 16.3% sweet spot. Most concerning, honestly, is the exit velo, because last year, JP was hitting balls about 88 miles an hour, 89 miles an hour. That his average last year was 88.3. And this year it's 85.1 miles an hour. That's 3 miles an hour less. But what sticks out to me is last year was the only year he's been above 86 miles an hour. So last year he cranked it up really high. He went to driveline. He hit 19 home runs. Now he's back down to his career average of 85. And it makes me think maybe JP is just not a power hitter. And that's okay, right? You don't need JP Crawford to be a power hitter. That's not an essential part of his game. And I said, earlier this season, I don't think he's going to have all the power numbers. Let's continue, though. So maybe last year was just a driveline effect, right? Maybe it was just a mirage. Last year also career high. He had a career high in hard hit percentage. This year, he is way down. Last year, 36.2% hard hit. This year, 28.6%, which is lower than his career average. There he is getting hit right there. So perhaps JP's just not a power hitter, right? He can make this work, and we've seen him be a good hitter without the power, right? JP, he was a productive hitter in 2021, 2022, only 15 home runs during that stretch, but he had a 103 WRC plus, 101 OPS plus. He's been good before without being a power hitter. He can do it again. And you can say, some of this decline could be attributed to the increase in breaking balls that he's been seeing. Pitchers are throwing JP breaking balls 29% of the time, most of his career. And not surprisingly, he is whiffing at 32% of breaking balls. He crushed off-speed pitches last year. He hit 301 against off-speed pitches last year. This year, only 8.3%. So he's seeing less off-speed pitches than ever before. That's the pitch he's best at. More breaking balls ever before. Is there any good news? There is, right? Here's the good news. He's not chasing pitches, and he's not striking out much. Chase rate, 19%. That's 89th percentile. And his whiff rate, 15.9%. That's 87th percentile. He is only striking out 17.4% of the time, and that is less than his career average of 18%. If JP wants to get back to being a productive hitter, I think he'd benefit from just being more patient. Take more balls, more breaking balls, adjust to those breaking balls. Last year, he led the AL in walks. Obviously, is he going to do that again? Probably not, but it would be nice if he could walk a little bit more, right? This year he's at 10.1%. That'd be the third lowest of his career. Last year he was about 13-14%. That'd be awesome if he can get to that rate again. And just, improve your plate discipline and go back to your contact roots, right? The numbers show right now that JP is just not a power hitter. He is back to his career norms in hard hit percentage. He's back to his career norms in barrel rate. And that's fine, right? That's fine. You just have to go back to being what you used to be, which is a contact hitter. Don't strike out. Get a lot of walks. You'll be okay. All right, next up, let's talk about Julio. Julio right now, slash line 186 batting average, 238 on base, 203 slugging for a 441 OPS, a 35 WRC plus, 34 OPS plus, negative 0.3 B WAR, negative 0.2 F WAR. That's bad. And it's true, he always struggles in April. However, his career April splits have been better. His career April, he hits 216. This year, 186. Career April, 281 on base. This year, 238. Career 76 WRC plus. This year, 35. So he's significantly worse this year than he has been in previous Aprils. This is on pace to be his worst April yet, right? 4th place in MVP voting last year. He's only 23 years old. And I think a lot of fans right now are questioning, is he ever going to get to his MVP potential? So I have good news for the doubters, right? Here's the good news. I think he's going to be just fine. Right now, his expected batting average, 251, 65 points higher than his current average. His expected slugging, 361. That's 158 points higher than his current slugging. How come his expected slugging is so much higher? Because he's hitting the ball hard. His exit velocity, 9.1.2 miles an hour. That's the average. That's good. Right? That's good. He's hitting the ball hard. 74th percentile in average exit velo. A little bit lower than his career norm, but nothing to worry about. Hard hit percentage right now, 60th percentile, 42.1%. That's good. Sweet spot, 36.8%. That's good. It's lower than what he did last year, but nothing looks really shocking. He's hitting the ball well. A lot of hard ground balls, though. He's hitting a lot of hard ground balls. And part of the slump could be just chalked up to, it's the marine layer and it's bad luck. But there has been a strikeout problem. Let's talk about it. There he is right there, striking out. He's striking out 33.3% of the time. He's whiffing 33.1% of pitches, and he's chasing 33.8%. All of those are below the 20th percentile. So he's bottom 5th of the league in strikeouts. And he's also not walking. That's bad. And he's never really been much of a walker, but still, 4.8% this year, 17th percentile. So he's not walking enough. Career strikeout rate, 25.5%. So this year he is 8% higher in his strikeout rate. I think that's going to go down, but he has to stop chasing. Last April, 27% strikeouts. This year, 31.8% strikeouts in April. So his April, he's still even worse. And want to know why? Same thing as JP, right? Breaking balls. Breaking balls are killing him. 40.3% breaking balls. That's a 7.4% increase from last year. And he's hitting 200 against them with a whiff rate of 46.5%. And he's been even worse against off-speed. He's literally whiffing, guys. He's whiffing at 58.3% of off-speed pitches. That's really bad. And at this point, he just has to prove he can lay off breaking balls. And he has to learn how to walk more and just be more patient. And until he does that, I'm not sure if he's ever going to be a star. But the good news is he's hitting the ball hard. He's making good contact. And, guys, we've seen him go through these April slumps before. We've seen him be bad in April. And he's always been fine. He's always broken out in May, in June. He's always been just fine. I think he cuts back on strikeouts, get the plate discipline better, and the luck with all the hard-hit ground balls is going to turn. I think the batting average is going to start to improve pretty soon here. All right, next up, Jorge Polanco. For what it's worth, he's the best of the Mariners' top 5 hitters right now. I say top 5, I'm talking about Julio, JP, Cal, Polanco, Garver. That's what this video is about, right? The top 5 hitters before the season, right? Right now, Haniger and France and Rojas are your top 5 hitters, and probably Dylan Moore and Canzone. But those are not the top 5 in the preseason. We're talking about the 5 guys who should be the top 5. Polanco right now hitting 196, 318 on base. That's pretty good. 304 slugging for a 622 OPS, 89 WRC plus, 86 OPS plus, negative 0.3 B WAR, and a negative 0.1 F WAR. Defense hasn't been great either. Yeah, for what it's worth, he's the best of our hitters in terms of all those stats. And one of the big reasons why is because Polanco is drawing walks. 83rd percentile in walks, 13.6% walk rate. That's well above. His career average is 8.8%. This year he's walking 5% more than his career average. That's really good. That's a really good sign, especially because the rest of the team is not walking at all. The rest of it's not as promising. Okay, so Polanco, he does what Julio does, which is strike out a lot, and he also isn't hitting the ball that hard like JP, so he kind of combines the worst of those two. He has a 33.3% strikeout rate, and that's by far the highest of his career. And that wouldn't be that worrisome, except for this is, I'm going to read you guys the past 5 years. 2020, he struck out 15% of the time. 2021, 18%. 2022, 21%. 2023, 26%. And now 2024, 33%. So his strikeout rate has gone up 5 years in a row. And this is the worst by far. That's a red flag. And it probably should have been a red flag when we traded for him. But it's definitely a red flag right now. And I know, like I said, to his credit, he's been better than the other guys in the top of the lineup. He's been our best hitter in the top of the lineup so far this year. And at the same time, the strikeout trends, that's worrying. That's worrisome. Silver lining, though, he's not whiffing he is whiffing 29.3%. However, his chase rate isn't that bad. He's only chasing 25.3. So maybe a little bit of bad luck, these things are going to correct. Maybe there's going to be a course correction because he's not chasing. He's striking out a lot, he's whiffing a lot, but he's not chasing. Now, what's more worrisome for Polanco is the exit velocity. He's down to 85.5 miles an hour this year, and that'd be the lowest of his career. And again, it'd be the 4th year in a row his average exit velocity has declined. Although this year would be much steeper. Last year he was hitting the ball 88 miles an hour. This year he's down to 85. That's bad. That is pretty steep. And not the same way as JP Crawford, though. He's always hit the ball hard. Polanco has. So I think, while JP, I think maybe just isn't a power hitter and he's going to stick around at his career norms, I think Polanco will be okay. I think he's going to get back to his kind of career averages. His hard hit rate right now, 85.3%. That's 33rd percentile, so bottom third of the league. And he does have a good sweet spot. 35.3% sweet spot, that's 56th percentile. One thing he definitely needs to do, though, he needs to barrel the ball up more. Only barreling at 5.9% barrel rate. I think when he starts barreling the ball up more, the exit velocity and the hard hit rates will improve as well. But again, it's all about these breaking balls. He's throwing more breaking balls than ever before. 34.1% breaking balls, most he's ever been thrown. And what is he hitting against breaking balls? 158. And he's whiffing 32.6% of the time. However, he also just has struggled against the fastball, which is kind of odd. He's hitting 154 against fastballs and whiffing 25.8% of the time. But I think that, honestly, is probably just a timing issue, right? If you can't hit the breaking balls, that's like, are you a major league hitter? When you're struggling against fastballs, usually that means it's a timing issue. So that maybe he's just, struggling out of the gate. I think that should improve. That should get better. He is walking, which is good. I think he will see some more positive improvement if he just cuts down on his strikeouts, and if he can fix that timing issue, then he's going to be better against the fastball. And he is walking, which is good because he's going to get himself into good counts, good hitters counts, right? The long-term issues is the exit velocity going down for the 4th year in a row and the strikeout rate going up for the 5th year in a row. That is a long-term issue, but I think he can definitely be a league average hitter and probably above league average hitter if he just does the little things right and just gets a little bit better, which I think he'll be fine. All right, let's move on. 2 more guys. Cal Raleigh. Right now, he's slashing 196 average, 245 on base, 326 slugging for a 571 OPS, 67 WRC plus, 68 OPS plus, 0.4 B WAR, and 0 F WAR. He's been off to a slow start as well. But what's interesting about Cal, what stands out to me about Cal, is his slow start has been very similar to his archetype as a player. So he's hitting the ball hard, and he's swinging at everything. And that's pretty much been what Cal Raleigh does his entire career. That's what he does. That's Cal Raleigh for you. His average exit velocity right now, 92.6 miles an hour. That's a career high, sitting in the 87th percentile. So that's good. He's hitting the ball harder than he ever has. Barrel rate right now, 10.7%. That's really good. 72nd percentile. That's 5% lower than what he did. Last year, he was barreling the ball up 15% of the time. Right now, he's down to 11. That's still good. He also has a hard hit rate of 46.4%. That's above his career average. And 72nd percentile. So, yeah, he's hitting the ball hard. He's a solid barrel rate. That is consistent with his entire career. And now for the bad news is Cal Raleigh has struck out 36.7% of the time. That's not good. 5th percentile. So he is in the bottom 20th of the league in strikeouts. And it is the highest strikeout rate of his career. Even though he always strikes out a lot, this is the highest of his career. There he is hitting a home run. His whiff rate, 30.9%, not much better. Chase rate, 32.4%. And his walk rate is way lower than last year. He's down to 6.1% walk rate. Last year, he was walking 9.5% of the time. So basically, he's swinging and missing a lot, and that's why, even with the good barrel rates, good exit velocities, his expected batting average is actually lower than his current. His expected batting average is 182. His expected slugging is 308. Those are both worse than what he is currently doing. And guys, you're going to be shocked to hear the reason why. I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record right now. Cal Raleigh cannot hit the breaking balls, and he is being thrown breaking balls at a career high 37.4% of the time. That's more than 10% more than last year. Currently sports an average of 200 against breaking balls. An expected batting average, even worse. His expected batting average is just 102 against breaking balls. He's whiffing at 39% of breaking balls. And until he's able to lay off those pitches, they're going to keep coming. He also does not have a single hit yet against off-speed pitches. Granted, only 9 of them, so very small sample size. So yeah, I mean, bottom line for Cal, he's always been a high strikeout guy. He's always been a high power guy, and these trends are not super surprising. I think if he can get the power a little bit more, the strikeouts a little bit less, maybe get a couple more walks, he's going to be right back to where he was last year. He's going to be right back to his career norms. All you need from Cal is 220, 25 home runs. If he can hit 220, 300 on base, good defense behind the plate, and hit 25 home runs, that's a good season out of Cal Raleigh. And I think we can get that. All right, last but not least, maybe the most worrisome of all, Mitch Garver. Currently slashing 156, 250 on base, 222 slugging, good for a 472 OPS. 45 WRC plus, 41 OPS plus with a negative 0.4 B-WAR and a negative 0.3 F-WAR. Now, he was the big free agent signing of the season, right? He's been absolutely miserable at the plate so far. And the numbers don't look as bad, so let's look at it. Okay, his expected batting average, 151. That's awful. That's like 5th percentile of the league. Expected slugging, 247. Also really, really bad. But there's some good stuff in between. Average exit velocity, 89.5. That's right about league average. 36.7% sweet spot. That's 62nd percentile. That's good. He's hitting in the sweet spot. Hard hit rate, 36.7%. That's 43rd percentile, right about league average. His barrel rate, currently just 3.3% though. So he is hitting the ball well, except he's not barreling it up. And the low barrel rate is worrisome, but I think that's going to improve over time because he is making, for the most part, he's making good, solid contact. His strikeout rate, 30.8%. That has not been impressive. And his walk rate of 9.6%. That's the second lowest walk rate of his career. Interesting, though. His numbers look worse, but he's actually striking out less than Julio, Jorge Polanco, and Cal. And he's walking more than both Julio and Cal. So maybe Garver's just falling victim to some bad luck. I don't know. Still, the 34.5% whiff rate is not good. And he's below average with his 28.1% chase rate as well. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Mitch Garver is seeing a career-high 40% breaking balls this year. And he's hitting .063 against breaking balls. And he is actually probably the worst out of anyone this year against breaking balls. He's whiffing 47.4% of the time. He's almost half the time a breaking ball gets thrown to Mitch Garver, he swings and misses. That's terrible. And those numbers are consistent with career norms, to be fair. He's never been good against breaking balls. In 7 seasons, he's hit over 200 just twice against breaking balls. Although last year he hit 240 against breaking balls. So maybe we thought he turned a corner. I don't know. He's also only hitting 167 against fastballs, despite only whiffing 20% of the time. So that's concerning. See, so he's making contact against fastballs. He's just not getting hits. And that's despite a 94.7 average exit velocity, which is the best of his career. And then you dive into the numbers and you say, oh, he suffers with the same problem as Julio. Every time he gets a fastball, it's a hard ground ball out. This is his 36.7% ground balls. That's a career high. and 20% fly balls. Only 20% fly balls. That's a career low. And he's kind of meant to be the power hitter, so if you want to be a power hitter, you got to hit more fly balls. So hopefully that's just an early trend that will reverse itself. Bottom line, guys, Mariners, their best 5 hitters, they're striking out too much for the most part, other than JP. They're not walking enough, other than Jorge Polanco. None of them seem to be able to hit breaking balls right now. And that's, the spin it to win it mantra, right? That's what everyone's saying. Spin it to win it. It's been working so far. And they're also just hitting into a lot of hard ground ball outs, which might be just bad luck, especially Julio and Mitch Garver. Julio and Mitch Garver have hit into so many ground ball outs. It's insane. Polanco, long-term, probably the most concerning just based off of the underlying trends of the strikeout and exit velocity. But currently, he's been okay. I think right now, the one I'm most worried about is probably JP, just because he's not hitting at all, and probably also Garver because of how bad he's been against breaking balls. But yeah, right now, opposing pitchers spin it to win it. That's what they say. It's been working so far. And until the Mariners learn how to just lay those pitches off, even if it's a strike, just lay it off. Don't swing at it. Don't swing at junk. Just lay it off, right? Take a called strike. Whatever. Get a pitch you want to hit. Get a good pitch. And when that happens, they're going to start walking more. They're going to start striking out less. They're going to get better balls to hit. And the offense is going to be better. And yeah, it's still early. And many of these trends are going to get better as the season goes on. But right now, we're a 10th into the season. The Mariners' presumed top 5 hitters have failed to carry the weight. And the result has been the mediocre 7-10 record to the start of the season. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you want to see more advanced analytics and advanced stats being talked about on this channel, let me know down in the comments below. I love diving into Baseball Savant and StatCast and figuring out why. That is what I love about the advanced stats, is it tells you why. It doesn't just tell you what is happening, it tells you why it's happening, and that's why I love it so much. If you guys haven't got into this yet, you really should get into the advanced stats because it's really fun to just dive into all of that. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening to this video. If you want to see more videos from this channel, check out all the rest of our videos. We do post games for the Mariners every single night. We also talk a lot about the Seahawks, and we do a lot of featured videos kind of like this as well. So if you guys are interested in Seattle sports at all, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to see notifications to all of our videos. My name is Levi. You can follow me on Twitter at LeviCouve or on Instagram also at LeviCouve. You can also follow the NW Sportscast at NW Sportscast 12 on both Twitter and Instagram. With all of that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching and or listening if you're hearing this as a podcast. We will see you guys in the next one, and as always, go Mariners.